that it should have started already. Okay, so I'm not sure if I went off and I came back on, or I didn't see the blue lights, but you know what? Glitches happen. This is live. You have to bear with me, please. The Hemet Beat Daily Show. If you missed that, I was saying we're talking to a special guest today. His name is Malcolm Lilienthal, and I'm going to be sharing a little information about Malcolm. He was the first black mayor of Hemet, first black city councilman of Hemet. He has definitely made black history, okay? And so grateful for him to be joining us today. All right, so let's jump right into our weather for the day. Before I get into the other things, we do thank God for another day. And this is what weather is looking like in Hemet. Right now, it is 52 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? And it says that it's going to get to 76 degrees, but it's going to be cloudy in the sky. 50-degree low today out there in Hemet, okay? Make sure that you are bundled up when that cold weather hits. Okay, Thursday, it's going to be 62 degrees high, 51 degrees low, cloudy in the sky. Friday, it's going to be 61 degrees high, 44 degrees low. Okay, and raining, it says it's going to be raining. So the sun will be blocked out in Hemet. So make sure you have your raincoats, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday, it's going to be 68 degrees high, 41 degrees low, cloudy in the sky. Sunday, it's going to be 68 degrees high, 40 degrees low, okay? And it's going to be cloudy in the sky. Monday, it's going to be cloudy in the sky, 63 degrees high and 38 degrees low. Tuesday, it's going to be 62 degrees high, 39 degrees low. And Wednesday, once again, it's going to be 60 degrees high, 42 degrees low. Clouds in the sky all week long. And then on Friday, we're going to be expecting a little bit of rain. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some awesome beat for the day. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to listen to this morning, but you know what? We're going to play something that is awesome. I do know that. I know we're going to play something that is awesome. Let's see what we have to play for you today. Let's see. We're going to find something awesome to play. What will it be? What will it be? Let's see. I think I'm going to play one of my originals. I do think that is what I would like to play as one of my originals. So the song that I'm going to play for you, you know what? I think I'll switch it up. Let's play Purpose today. Now, if you've never heard of Purpose, they are also Hemet residents, San Jacinto residents, natives. I think they've gone to like different areas now, but they started out there. Brittany and Tiani from the Balm of Truth Church, where Pastor Lily was the pastor. I believe Pastor Perrin Vonner has taken over for her, and Pastor Maria Perrin and Maria Vonner, and then you have the other ones that are there helping to govern, um, Rochelle, and I forgot her husband's name slips my mind, but they have the ministry now. They've taken over. The baton has been passed, and they're doing their work right there and him in San Jacinto. I will find out the name of that church as we proceed with different shows. I know Mr. Ricky G is very involved in them. They have a record label called GMEG. God makes everything good. GMEG, GMEG. If you want to contact the Hemet Beat, our phone number is 951-305-0997. Once again, that's 951-305-0997. And our email is thehemetbeat@gmail.com. That is TheHemetBeat at gmail.com. Thehemetbeat at gmail.com. And then Messenger on Facebook is always available to you as well. Contact us. We're still looking for guests for the Black History Month. Okay, we still have dates to fill out. If you know somebody that would be a good candidate, tag them, let them know. All right, maybe over here on Facebook, I'm talking to the Facebook cam, but I just want to let you know that all the action happens over on. It happens on YouTube. So I'll be dropping that YouTube link for you in just a moment. And let's get into some of this Brittany and Tiani Purpose, okay, and listen to some awesome gospel music and watch a awesomely creative gospel video. Okay, this is some CHH, gospel hip hop. And here comes those links while we are.
Is you walking in your victory?
Yes, sir.
Using what is your foundation?
His word. See, you gotta let your spirit man emerge.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn?
Is you walking in your victory?
Yes, sir.
Using what is your foundation?
His word. See, you gotta let your spirit man emerge.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
Where you gonna learn? Hey, let me talk to you real quick. Laced in the word, walking in deliverance. Foundation sitting firm, this what the business is. Sold out, and this God is my witness. Okay, and we play no games. Hands down, no why, cause we unashamed. No boasting, just bold in Christ. On fire for the Lord like fuel ignite. Ha! Amped up, but at the same time I simmer down. I tell my flesh, and then my spirit loud. Am I walking in my victory? I'm wearing the crown because my Father is the King, and I know that now. Moving in my faith, devil get up out my face, all up on my back, trying to tear me down, but he can't. I know you hear this, so quit fighting your flesh, moving your spirit.
Is you walking in your victory?
Yes, sir.
Using what is your foundation?
His word. See, you gotta let your spirit man emerge.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
Where you gonna learn?
Knock, knock. Special delivery. It's the Lord thy God, and he here to give you victory. Look, my life used to be flatline. Now I'm living my life and I'm baptized. Hand in the sky like I'm hitting my nay-nay. Hey, I'm just praising, but to them I look crazy. Praying hard to the Holy Spirit. Slay, man, I ain't talking about death. I'm talking about rest, get it off my chest. Okay, yeah, I had to break up out imprisonment. And now I'm fighting with more armor than the militant. Devil always been a foe, ain't nothing really different. Besides the fact I chose Christ and stuck to my commitment. I must say that it's been a success. So am I walking in my victory? Yes.
Okay.
Rockabye, baby, I'm killing the flesh. Is you walking in your victory?
Yes, sir.
Using what is your foundation?
His word. See, you gotta let your spirit man emerge.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn?
Is you walking in your victory?
Yes, sir.
Using what is your foundation?
His word. See, you gotta let your spirit man emerge.
Well, I don't know how you do that.
Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn?
How you do that?
Where you gonna learn? Where you gonna learn?
Yes, so that was Purpose right there that we were jamming. I am Joseph Mikael Page, your host of the Hemet Beat, and I just like to start our day off, getting getting a little music going, getting a little jams going. Ever since my daughter was a little girl, I used to have her, in the mornings we would wake up and we would start our day with awesome music being played and just such a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's get into what I've learned about Mr. Booker T. Washington. I do consider the Hemet Beat Daily Show, as well as the Hemet Beat itself, to be an educational platform and informative as well, informing people about the different entertainment venues, artists, rappers, singers, dancers. I don't care what you do. We're here to promote and support you. Okay, big ups to RUHS, who provided the opportunities that have come my way for me to sit before you. I am a part of a lot of different programs. For those that don't know, I was born with a spinal condition. I was born with different ailments, mental illnesses, and things like that that hadn't been diagnosed up until I was an adult. So I really didn't know how to care for these things. And I always seemed to get into trouble with different individuals and stuff because of my mind state. You know, drugs and alcohol didn't help. Marijuana, alcohol, and methamphetamine and all of the different things that I've tried in life, none of that stuff helped me to get to the next level, like submitting to the drug and alcohol program, going to see the psychiatrist, getting diagnosed, and finding out exactly what was going on with me. So that's just a little bit of my testimony and my story. But let's check out Mr. Booker T and see who this Mr. Booker T Washington really is, okay? So, Booker T. Washington, a man of faith and wisdom. Booker T. Washington, from 1856 to 1915, was more than an educator and leader. He was a man of deep Christian faith who believed that character, discipline, and reliance on God were the keys to true success. He understood the importance of avoiding destructive paths, whether through sin, bitterness, or shortcuts. Okay, so he understood that the importance of avoiding destructive paths. Do you understand the importance of destructive paths? Okay, there are some different pathways out there that may look correct, you know, that you might want to walk in, you know, drug dealing and gang banging, and that life might fascinate you, and it might put you in a mind state where you say, hey, you know what, I want to be a part of that. Those guys look cool, you know, and then you find out years later, after you've wasted your life on the enemy's things, that that's not truly what your call was, and that you have, like I said, wasted your life. Okay, so you want to look towards God and see God in all that you do and avoid destructive pathways. You want to walk that straight and narrow path that will allow you to flourish. Okay, so I am a Christian. I'm a big time Christian, and I do believe that God is the one who gave me this platform. If it were not for him, I wouldn't have the skills to wield a camera, backdrop, and all of the other things. So we're always going to give glory to God on the Hemet Beat. Okay, so instead of seeking revenge or falling into despair, Mr. Booker T. Washington chose the high road, building Tuskegee Institute. Okay, so he built an institute, and I've heard of the Tuskegee Airmen. Okay, I never really knew much about them, but like I said, this is a learning platform, so we're going to dig into the Tuskegee Airmen as well. I forgot about that. I didn't even think about that for Black History Month, but yes, the Tuskegee, that's awesome. And I did not realize that Booker T. Washington is the one who built the institution. Kudos to you, Booker T. Training young men and women in education, faith, and self-sufficiency, and encouraging Black Americans to rise above injustice through wisdom and perseverance. Okay, so through a culture of wisdom cultivation, cultivating your wisdom, you can persevere and become such a greater entity with inside of the society that surrounds you. You know, many people, some don't respect wise people, but you will find more that will respect a wise man and looking for a wise word than those that respect a fool. So please don't be a fool. Okay, now let's dig in a little deeper to find out this Mr. Booker T. Washington and who he really, really is. All right, so I am just already kind of fascinated with Booker T. Washington. Mr. Booker T. Washington. Let's see. What else can we find on Mr. Booker T? Booker T. Washington, Mr. Educator. Wow, they have some actual nice pictures, and I'm going to go ahead and share these awesome pictures that I found of Mr. Booker T. Washington as we delve deep into who this man was, a little deeper, that is. I can't get too deep, I only have so much time. But man, Tuskegee Institute for young black men and women to rise above their injustices and racial inequality through education. That is wonderful to me. Let's see here, Control B. Let's enter there. And boom. All right, so we are looking at Mr. Booker T. Washington, uh, Princeton Public Library. Some of this information came from. But let's just take a look at good old Wiki and see what Wikipedia has to say. Booker Taliaferro, what a middle name, Washington. Born April 5th, 1856, November 14th, 1915. Okay? Was an American educator, author, and orator with between 1890 and 1915. Washington was the primary leader in the African American community and of the contemporary black elite. Wow. Wow. So he was the template for the black elite of that time, inside America. So of course we came from slavery. All right, our ancestors were enslaved, brought over on slave ships or whatever way they were carted over to the Americas, and we started out dingy, dirty, whatever massa gave us inside of shacks, living in the back of the plantation, picking cotton and getting, they fed us and took care of us. Now I'm sure in many places it wasn't that bad. Some places they had, real good food, and they took care of their slaves real good because they knew that a healthy slave made a healthy environment, made a healthy harvest. You know what I'm saying? But some of those conditions were extremely poor back in those days, and and people owned people. Booker T. Washington, became one of the black elite within America, and he had to take on that European, that Caucasian image that they displayed to him to see what it was like to become the black elite and be a part of high society at that time. Okay, and what I think is that it shouldn't be a travesty. It shouldn't be looked down upon if that is the road that you choose to become black elite within the Americas, which is where we live. Sometimes you just have to call a spade and look it right in the eye and say, hey, you know what? The truth of the matter is we live in this society. You cannot help the skin color you were born with. You cannot help the place you were born at. You are here, and rise above the status quo. Rise above the statistics. And how do you do that? With inside of the different programs that they provide inside of the government, there are ways that you can become who you want to be inside of society. I choose to want to elevate to that black elite level. I wouldn't mind wearing a suit and tie and all of these different things. And I think that Jay-Z is like black elite, right? And I think Diddy was considered black elite until what happened to him. Right now they've snatched that status, and man, I'm so sorry. A moment of silence for poor Diddy, especially in Black History Month, because he was one of the rising stars and a groundbreaker for many things within the hip hop industry and our hip hop culture and Bad Boy Records. And wow. Okay, but let's go back to Mr. Booker T and check out some more on what they say about him. All right, born into slavery on April 1856 in Halesford, Virginia, Washington was Washington was freed when U.S. troops reached the area during the Civil War. As a young man, Booker T. Washington worked his way through Hampton Normal, okay, Hampton Normal, I'm not sure what that is, and Agricultural Institute, and attended college at Wayland Seminary. So he also went to seminary and learned things of the Lord. In 1881, he was named as the first leader of the New Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, an institute for black higher education. He expanded the college, enlisting students in construction of buildings. Okay, so he started his own construction firm with inside the college walls. The great things that you can do when you take the time to go to college. Work at the college was considered fundamental to students' larger education, and it was considered fundamental for the students' larger education. He attended national prominence for his Atlanta address of 1895, which attracted the attention of politicians and the public. Washington played a dominant role in black politics, winning wide support in the black community of the South and among more liberal whites. Okay, Mr. Booker T. Washington wrote an autobiography, Up from Slavery, in 1901. That was not that many years ago, if you think about it. Let me see, about 124 years ago, maybe. I might not got that right, but that's a gang of years. All right, became a major text. It became a major text. In that year, he dined with Theodore Roosevelt at the White House, which was the first time a black person publicly met the president on equal terms. Wow, what a trailblazer we have in Mr. Booker T. Washington. After an illness, he died in Tuskegee, Alabama on November 14th, 1915. So there's much more to read on Mr. Booker T. Washington, but right now I have to get over to Malcolm Lilienthal, which is going to be our guest on today's show. And I want to make sure that he's prepped and ready. But I did want to give you a little bit of Black history since this is the Black History Month. Okay, so praise God for what we've learned and what he's opened our minds to. Mr. Booker T. Washington, thank you for everything that you've done. We do appreciate your success and the way that you've paved for us. Oh man, what a wonderful, wonderful inspiration. That should have been the guy we picked for Motivation Monday. My. I had no clue who Mr. Booker T. Washington was. As a child, I had so much confusion. I didn't really understand much of anything. And now that I got my wits about me, I'm like, all right, I'm learning, I'm understanding these things. Man. So I'm just going to get us with Malcolm Lilienthal right now. Let's see, where are we at with Mr. Malcolm? All right, here we go. Malcolm Lilienthal. It is 8:57. Let's go ahead and cruise a little music while we wait to get our Malcolm on the line. All right, I'm going to play some Transformation. This is a Joseph Mikhail Page and John Jorgensen collaboration at the Little Green Studios with Joe Alfaro. transformation. Yeah. All right, we got that jam coming for you.
Lurking in the shadows, the old lion sharpens his claws. Try as he may, my heart won't dismay. I am protected by God. Lurking in the shadows, the old lion sharpens his claws. Try as he may, my heart won't dismay. I am protected by God. Lurking in the shadows, the old lion sharpens his claws. Try as he may, my heart won't dismay. I am protected by God. Lurking in the shadows, the old lion sharpens his claws. Try as he may, my heart won't dismay. I am protected by God.
Yes, sir.
And look at the big mic on Malcolm.
Yeah.
All right, all right. It says that my virtual video is still loading and it's unable to pull me up on your screen, but that's not a problem. The people can see me right now, and we're going to bring you on in just a second. Let me turn this music down.
Lurking in the shadows,
Where we at?
the old lion sharpens his claws.
I mean, the jam is groovy though, you know what I mean? I kind of just want to jam to it a little bit, like, protected by God. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have the man of the hour, and not just the man of the hour, but we have the man of the hour. You know, just a little more black history. Black people used to call white people the man. Often, you're like, oh, the man's looking after me. The man's coming to get me. The man. And they got that, not just black people, but Mexicans. It's the man, Holmes. The man is looking for him, Holmes. You know what I'm saying? So we know Kevin Spear as the man is on the call.
Well, don't put me in that group, because when I was running around, I used to look out for the man myself.
No! Look at this guy right here. All right, so I'm gonna bring this, bring you guys up right now, and people are going to be able to view all three of us. Okay. Let's see here. I'm shrink myself a little bit more, just a little bit. I'm still on Malcolm's fade there. Let's get out of Malcolm's fade. All right, there we go. Boom, there it is. Now you have the visual. Mr. Malcolm Lilienthal and Kevin Spear are here, and we are going to hear some wonderful things about hashtag first black mayor of Hemet. Mr. History Maker himself. You guys go ahead and I believe Kevin will be conducting the interview while I go ahead and try to get some more people on board to watch the show. And if they can't watch it now, they can always watch it at a later time.
Well, thank you very much, and so happy to be here with the Hemet Beat and interview a very historic figure, Malcolm Lilienthal, at this particular time in my life and our lives, February, Black History Month, and Hemet's my hometown. And I don't know who left the door open, but Malcolm somehow got in here and became the first Black city council member the town has ever had. Is that right, Malcolm?
Yes, sir.
And
They
what
even
year
checked
were
the
you
records
elected?
and everything.
What
Gave him
year
a
were you elected?
proclamation.
20, what year?
2020.
2020. And how long was your term?
4 years.
And was one of those years you were the mayor?
Yes, in 2022.
And
It was interesting. I got elected in 2020, became the mayor pro tem in 21, then the mayor in 22.
so what was it like? Uh, what was your thinking when you decided to run for city council in this historic, traditionally, white dominant culture town?
Very naive because I didn't know what was going on. It was a Facebook post that I saw said if you want to run for city council, it's open. I didn't even know there were districts. And so I put my hat in, and I just so happened to live in one of the districts that was up. And I did my best, what the ideas that everyone gave me, putting up signs and going knocking on doors. That was the main thing I did, was knock on doors, and got elected.
That's pretty amazing. But there must have been some inner thoughts when you decided to run for city council. I know you mentioned naive, but uh, were you excited to be a standard bearer and to break the color barrier in this little town, or what was your motivation?
To be honest, I wasn't thinking in that way. I was thinking more, how can I be a positive impact on my community? That's more how I was thinking. I was like, okay, there's so many people complaining about what's happening in Hemet. Rather than join in on the complaints, let me go find out how this stuff works and see if I could do anything about it.
Well,
To be honest,
what was the reaction that you faced when you won the election?
it was mixed. Some people were like, because I came out of nowhere, no one really knew me. Um, I do attend a church out here, it so those were the only people who knew me, and then kind of like out of that extent, people knew me. But for the most part, all of him didn't know about me, and so it was kind of a shock for some people because I took out an incumbent, and which literally happened to me afterwards. But they some people didn't like the fact that somebody with a darker tone became a city council member, because it went from like, yay, congratulations, to some people are like, oh, is he gonna is he gonna Is he going to make Hemet more ghetto? I got a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative DMs. Great, we have this black council member. Even when I became the mayor, it was great. Now we have a nigger mayor.
Oh,
It was
wow.
all over the place.
Uh, well, I tell you, I remember in the 70s when we used to watch Archie Bunker on television, and the common phrase uh, was, there goes the neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah,
And here 50 years later, you saw that in real life.
yeah. I didn't have interactions like that with people until I got on city council.
Um, that brings up my next question. Had you experienced any discrimination or prejudice in your life prior to moving to Hemet?
Yeah. Um. It, but it was not until I moved to Hemet. Before that, and then the crazy part about it is a lot of times I didn't know it was happening. Other people had to tell me about it. So apparently I experienced it, but I was naive to it because I didn't know what it looked like. Does that make sense?
It sure does. It sure does. You 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 might not see the microaggressions, and you might not see what's going on behind your back, and sometimes the backhanded comments might seem pleasant at a glance, but
Hmm.
there's a deeper ulterior meaning.
Yeah. And even when people pointed it out, I still couldn't see it.
Well,
I understood logically where they were coming from, but I didn't, I didn't see it like that.
well, that's probably because you see the good in people, right? You focus on the positive.
I would agree with that.
Well, I would imagine
Yeah.
that's a big part of your character, because your profession is what?
Mental health therapist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you're a licensed therapist. When did you become a licensed marriage and family therapist?
Well, I'm still an associate, but I'm in this limbo part where I'm waiting for the BBS to tell me it's okay to go take my clinical. Then I'll become licensed. But I
Okay.
applied for my associate license. Um, I went 6 years ago, and so
Okay.
now they got to count I got to do 3,000 hours according to the state of California. They're counting them. I don't know if they're at my application yet, but that's what I'm waiting on.
And how many hours have you gotten in your 6 years?
8,000.
Wow. And where's your office located?
464 South Palm Avenue on Palm Street in Hemet, California.
All right. And what types of clients are you counseling these days?
I have couples, I have individuals. My youngest is 4, my oldest is 87. So it just kind of ranges in there. My and then I do run an anger management class on Wednesdays from 5 to 6 p.m.
Fascinating. Now, what got you into this field of mental health and psychology?
Just doing the work on myself. I wanted to. I'm the type of person I want to take things apart and find out how they work. So I used to take my toys apart. I used to take electronics apart. My mom would say something broke. I would take that apart, fix it somehow, and then um, I ended up taking a psychology class. And I was like, oh, I can find out how the mind works. So then I started picking myself apart, and I was like, man, if I can pick myself apart, maybe I can help others understand themselves more. And then it just blossomed from there.
Fascinating. Where did you go to high school?
El Camino and Oceanside.
Okay. And what year did you graduate?
2000, the year 2000.
In the year 2000. When did you go to college?
I went to first I went to MSJC, then I transferred to Cal Baptist University, and then finished my master's at a place called Argosy University.
Very good. Uh, what was it like getting a 4-year degree from Cal Baptist in Riverside?
It was the most amazing experience. People described, they said they've never seen such a big smile on my face because to me it felt like the end of a, like I'm ready to go. In fact, I was so high-minded back then that I thought I could be a therapist then. And then you and then you find out because I remember reading because I started like a blog back then. I started writing about, what my thoughts were about psychology. And I look back on my writings today and I was like, wow, I didn't know anything. Criticize your past work.
Uh, what's your political aspirations today?
Right now, I'm not necessarily thinking about that. I'm trying to wait for some money to come in, and then I'll make a decision like that. But maybe super county supervisor, and then assembly, and then governor.
You had some connections with the county board of supervisor when you were on the city council. Tell us about those.
I developed a close relationship with Supervisor Karen Spiegel, and Supervisor Ixtian Gutierrez. Um, and that's another reason why I'm not focused on running right now because I highly respect Supervisor Gutierrez, and I don't want to run against him. So if he was saying he was going to do something else, then I've run for the position. So it's more like just kind of waiting my turn. But great relationships with them, where we were able to do things like backpack giveaways and free haircuts and all kinds of things for the community, quarterly. And so I really appreciate the relationship they've had. They've even blessed the organization that I'm currently the president for with some money to help go towards their African American essay contest.
Wow. Well, that brings us to the Black Essay Contest that is part of an organization that you're president of right now. Tell us about that group.
Well, as like I said, president, and it covers, Hemet, San Jacinto, Menifee, the whole region. Um, they do a lot of impactful work as far as getting the community to understand, unity and diversity within the community. They hold these programs every fourth Thursday at 6 p.m. where they have various speakers come and educate the community about different things. Because what we're trying to do is bridge the gaps between the different cultural, the racial, the social groups, and through those types of programs. And then we try to do initiatives that encourage any type of dialogue, education, and collaboration along that mission. And so the mission is to create an inclusive environment where every individual feels valued and heard.
What is the name of this group?
The Human Relations Council.
And how can we find them on the internet or Facebook?
The website, you could go to www.human relations, and it's all together, no spaces. Relations is RELATIONS, and then council, COUNCIL.com.
Okay, all right.
Okay, hey,
It's
hey
early in the
guys.
morning.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to chime in real quick. So, since we're mentioning this essay contest and we're highlighting the Human Relations Council with Malcolm Lilienthal as the president, so I just feel like calling you Young Obama. I don't know, it just rose up within me, Young Obama here. And one thing that we did learn today, also just on a sidebar, was we learned about Booker T. Washington. Now, I can remember as a child how much I hated history class. I despised history class. You know what I'm saying? And today I found out who Booker T. Washington was, and I was like, I could have had a V8.
I could have a V8.
Dude was cold, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of the first black elite. He set the bar, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is this what I want to do? Do I want to raise to this standard? And then, well, what's the opposite and what's the other choice? Go hang out inside of Mistletoe Park and see who got a bag for sale? But I'm going to pull up the Human Relations Council while we're here online and show the people what you guys stand for. Is that all right with you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's click it over here to the Human Relations Council. All right, human. Okay, spell that for me. What's the URL? Human Relations.
So it's HumanRelations
Uh huh. COU CIL.com.
.com.
All right, now that seems like you guys are one of the oldest organizations there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody thought to create a humanrelationscouncil.com. How did you get it first? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
That-
there's a bunch of them though, but most of them are sanctioned by the city councils and stuff like that. This one is private.
Okay, but still, to have the URL humanrelationscouncil.com,
Yeah.
nobody with a human relations council in their city or region ever thought to call their and get this
Yeah.
URL before you guys got it. It is like a Hemet dominant URL domain
Yeah.
name. You know what I'm saying? And that's fascinating to me. So we got the Human Relations Council up, and it says our mission right here to promote cooperation and positive human relations in the community. Since 1998, fostering interracial respect and acceptance. Okay, organizational goals. Goal number one, advance legal, economic, and political equity by promoting equal access to opportunities for health, housing, education, and employment. Now, my question to both of you, being members of this board, okay, what can you? I mean, it's just so much impacted and compacted in that first goal. Can you
Yeah.
kind of unfold it for us? I'm gonna put you back on screen right now. But yeah, that's amazing.
Well, the first thing I'd like to ask Malcolm about is the Black History Month essay contest, because that is certainly the leading event that this organization puts on. And to unpack that, we have to talk about the importance of history and the importance of teaching history to junior high and high school students, and especially the importance of Black history in 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 this group. And I know uh, the dominant culture is the Caucasian culture, even though we do have minority groups of American Indians, Hispanics, Black Americans, Asians. But tell us why the Human Relations Council has picked a essay contest to be their number one event every year.
You know, Kevin, I honestly don't know that.
Well,
What I can tell you is that this is going to be our 21st annual Black Essay Contest, and that it'll be open to middle school students, high school students, and your college students in the valley. And we want to encourage people to participate, to write an essay that highlights, a person of color. But Kevin, what I particularly like about this essay is the way that they ask the students to write it is they'll ask to write it from a point of view of like you being their friend or a family member, and I think that's very interesting. This year we're focusing on African Americans and the arts, so exploring contributions in visual and like performing arts that could include like literature and fiction. So someone we might even hear about Booker T. Washington since he was an author. But we encourage students to craft their essays as historical fiction or imagining themselves, like I said earlier, like living during that time next to their chosen figure, and then just kind of like writing from that perspective. The essay,
How many entries do you normally get from your different categories of entrants?
it varies because I remember last year we got entries from an entire, I believe it was an ESL class, second, and a second second language learning class, and and they and it was very encouraging to see that this teacher just used this opportunity, writing opportunity for them to learn about, Black history. He didn't have to do that. He could have just chose 3 or 4 kids. But we have judges that read over these essays, and 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 just give an opportunity to celebrate these people's hard work, middle school and high school students.
So you have had uh, upwards of 40 plus entrants
Yes,
of the junior high class and probably almost as many in the high school class. Is that true?
yes.
And what's the prize money here?
We give out up to $2,000. 250 could be first place, 150 could be, or 175 could be second, and then 150 could be third place. And those are for the writing part. And then we have a part on the presentation day where we give an opportunity for those students to present their essays, and then they also get a first, second, third, and then they get recognition from all of the electeds in the surrounding region.
Now, when is the awards banquet where we could see people act out their award-winning essays?
February 28th at 6 p.m., and it'll be at the Center for Spiritual Living.
And where is that located? Is that in Hemet?
Yeah,
It's at the
it's
corner of Girard and Stetson. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
And it's open to
Yes,
the public. Anybody can show up and watch.
yes, sir.
So I would imagine you would encourage anyone who knows parents of a high school or junior high student to enter this contest. I know when I was 13, if I had a chance to win $250, I would certainly go for it.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
have any of these children's essays and performances stood out with you over the years that you've been watching?
I can't. I remember a girl playing a piano, a rendition of someone's song. I can't remember, but that was like the main thing, that it's their creativity that stands out more than the it's how they present it is what stood out more for me.
Uh,
So the one,
I was always impressed with the young junior high girl that showed up dressed like a waitress in a
see what I'm saying?
1950s
Yeah,
diner.
yeah. When they
And
embody it, that's beautiful.
that's right. And she told the story of how this great man always gave her a nice tip and seemed to be the most popular fellow in the cafe every morning as the
Yeah,
city folks were bustling to work. And then later on, she learned that she had been serving coffee every morning to Martin Luther King Jr.
yeah. See, that's that's what brings the smile, because it's the creativity that they put behind it.
Yeah.
Because most of the people we've heard of, but it's their unique way of presenting the material is what's beautiful.
Yes. So, and the entire public can come and watch, not just the parents or educators, school teachers, everybody interested in diversity and tolerance should come and watch this, right?
Yeah, because then you might get to learn something that you didn't know. People
Uh,
always leave with good information.
I'm sure we will. And why do you think that uh, so many students love to sign up for this? Is it because they enjoy showing their creativity and their public speaking skills, uh, or is it just the fact that there is some pride in digging into either your own culture or another culture?
Um, so what's interesting, Kevin, is when I ask the students, sometimes I get, well, my parents made me because this helps go towards a scholarship towards my college education. Or there was something I wanted, and they said, here's a good opportunity for you to earn the money. And then other ones were like, I just wanted to show off my acting skills. They have various, but I'm I'm sorry to say that it was never like it was mean their answers were meaningful to them, but it never was like their answers was never meaningful for me, you know?
Uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, one thing I do want to ask you, and it's an interesting observation over the years, how many of the students that enter the Black History Essay Contest are actually Black?
So that's the part that kind of brings a little pain because it's far, I every time it may be like two out of the 13 or 12 that end up showing up for the present to do their presentations, and I don't see too many entries from African American students, and there's various reasons why, but you know, a lot of
Well,
times
one
they
reason
don't.
could simply be that the demographics of Hemet are still a little swayed, uh, white, Hispanic, versus African Americans. I don't know if there's an equal mix in our school system yet, but
Yeah,
don't
because we only make up about 6.7% of him.
well, if we're 6.7% of Hemet, then they're probably even above that in representing their culture in the essay contest.
Yeah,
But I find it very fascinating that members of other cultures participate in this. I
yeah,
mean, I think it's just for a Caucasian, an Asian, an American Indian to adopt the persona of a Black person and present an essay on their contribution to the world. I think that's just over the top wonderful, because we all want to toot our own horn, right? But when
yeah,
somebody else toots our horn, that to me is just over the top.
yeah. It shows a willingness to celebrate the contribution and resilience of African Americans.
Well, that's what your organization's all about, right? Having
Hmm.
everybody appreciate and acknowledge each other,
Yeah,
not just uh, pay them lip service.
yeah. I
Well,
hope that we can expand it to other nationalities and ethnic groups.
Well, guys, we are at the 9:30 mark, and we will come back and reconvene when you have time, Mr. Lilienthal. Actually, the Hemet Beat is looking towards you to possibly do an ongoing show and representation of Black excellence and making sure that your face is seen throughout the time that we are doing the things that we're doing on the Hemet Beat. We appreciate you, Kevin Spear, for you being here. We're also hoping that you will contribute to the Hemet Beat on a greater level as we proceed and give the people what they need. I am your host, Joseph Mikael Page, and we are putting it down for Hemet, San Jacinto, Riverside County, the IE, and the greater Los Angeles area. Until next time, Hemet, we love you, and don't just be, but be the heartbeat of Hemet.